No. Soul death. Soul death is hitting everywhere on the earth. I am getting flooded in my queen prayer about soul death around the world. I have intentionally not wanted to answer anything, talk about anything. I have intentionally sent weird messages or vague messages. The only time I was happy to leave messages was about that really cool lady. It was a weird technology mishap, but the lady was really cool. And then, since we're talking about this husband of mine, that wanted me to check in on this video after you made sure I got the room you wanted, which I did. There was a lady who gave me a Pepsi, and thanks to her, I have a tip for the room. So thanks to her, I have a tip for the room. I hope the power of God does something so fun and nice for her. And she gave me a Pepsi. I was so excited and so grateful. I wanted to say thank you so big and be so grateful, but I didn't know what kind of words to say. Well, I was so grateful because I was hot, and it was a nice ice cold Pepsi, and I was like, oh, she's making my dreams come true, man. A nice cold soda hits the spot. And she was a really cool lady. She's probably somebody's really cool grandma or aunt or something. I couldn't tell her age because, when people are really cool, you can't tell if they're older or younger. Because sometimes they like their hair kind of gray because it just looks cool. But sometimes they're still really young or sometimes they're not. But you tell she was somebody's cool relative. It was so cool because I was just so grateful to have a soda. It was hot out there. And I wasn't doing as well as I thought. So, but I got the room, babe, and I'm glad we could go over everything today. It was nicer that other husband stopped freaking out. It was like, buddy, you can't be a husband and freak out. You can't walk up to a crop circle and scare everybody. You gotta make it seem like everything's no big deal. It's just how you gotta do things, They're gonna learn, but it's not just governments that walk up very serious. It's not just the men in blacks of the gods that walk up very serious. Gods in general teach most professionals to be very serious in very scary times. It's just very, very important. And, it's one thing for a daddy to show that he cares about the kids, he's worried about the kids. It's one thing for a daddy to show the seriousness of something scary or serious. But they gotta be strong. They're the dad. They can't fall apart. That's not how this can be able to work out. Husbands. Oh, there was this guy at the trailer park, and he's like, "You're going to the wrong address." And I was like, no, this is the right address. The mailbox right here. And he pointed at the mailbox. I was like, oh shoot, the mailbox address is for the other house. And I was preparing to take the groceries to the house that he was at. And I thought, why the hell am I doing this? Didn't I notice? And no, I didn't. The mailbox looked like it belonged to their house. But still, I didn't analyze the address very well. I just assumed it was that address. And it was like, well, why didn't I even pay attention to that mailbox and where the house really should be? And it occurred to me, the guy went outside and he's like, hey, you, the house is over there. And as I was looking at him, I was like, oh, no wonder I would park right here. it was a no-brainer. His dad. You know, that reminds me, for a while, my powers were so dead and weird and jumbly. I would grab the shopping carts of everybody that the good power of God loved. So every time I saw a shopping cart, or every time my powers were near a shopping cart, and good gods loved the person connected to the shopping cart, I'd naturally grab their shopping carts because it felt comfortable, like where I'm supposed to be. Oh, that was embarrassing for a little bit, but like I got good at it. I got better at it anyway. And that was just a weird moment. And then I realized I don't want to ever deliver 5 billion bottles of water if I have to walk too far. There was a bunch of bottles of water that I needed to deliver to that Walt Disney resort place out here in the desert. And goodness, I don't really like to walk in the heat. I think I'm old and dead enough to retire that. And I thought, well, I never pay attention too much because I'm always pretty sure what I order is just, little packages and stuff. And I knew I had I knew I had an item. But yeah, it had a lot of one item. I thought, I think if I could avoid these things, I'll probably avoid these things. And the poor guy felt bad. He was like, yeah, what a poor day for you to be delivering all this water. And I thought, oh, buddy, I'm avoiding answering people or talking, but he looked really cute, like a little nerd. His little shoes were tiny, and his little pants were kind of silly at the bottom, like a little nerd. And he looked pretty studious, like a basically smart guy. And the first thing I thought was, hey, this Disney place is cursed land. And as I looked at him, I said, I wonder what it's like to work on cursed land. And so I analyzed the guy to see what it's like to work in somewhere that's cursed. He actually goes through a lot of bizarre or unexplainable ups and downs. And he also wonders about things. Like, wow, that's really weird. But I got to go to Salton Sea recently, so I drove by the Salton Sea, and it was pretty nice. The water was full of all kinds of things from far and wide. Lots of foreign visitors, aliens and spirits and stuff everywhere. I really like when I can curse land in a good way. I really love the land. Do you remember when I made the tornado? I made that tornado and I picked up the cows and I put the cows somewhere else with the tornado. And I did that before I had even resurrected. Just purely my aching death. And I used that tornado and picked up those cows and put them somewhere else. And I wondered if anybody would even care that tornadoes have never relocated life. And I thought it was pretty exciting, because maybe a child of God will jump into a tornado one day. I really liked that area. I cursed the land so that I could really, be picky about the area. And it's coming along pretty good. So, I guess I just wanted to sit and chit-chat with all the good people hiding in a corner, because sometimes you don't want to be on Earth and in the normal, what they dish out. don't want to be on earth with the normal what they do in life. As I was reflecting about preachers and stuff earlier, I think it just put me in the wrong kind of blah kind of spin. On a planet like this, you have to be feisty and ready for all the ha-ha crazy and more all the time.